everyone. Okay, so real fast. I just want to kind of outline something for you guys real quick, because I've been thinking about this a lot lately, and I've been wanting to say something about it for a couple of days, but I've kind of had to sit with it for a minute. I kind of had to let it brew for a second to really make sure that I get the message across the way that I want it to come across, because what I'm about to say is like super controversial. And understand when I tell you, I recognize that it's super controversial, and I'm not going to not say it because it needs to be said, right? That being said, I want to make sure that you understand that I am not by any means or in any way, shape, or form downplaying, overlooking, or taking advantage of the sacrifice that anyone in anybody's family has had to make for the passage of this message. I appreciate and I mourn for all those that we have lost this year and last year across the world. I mourn for the graduates. I mourn for the babies that, can't be babies and can't run around in their daycares and in their summer camps and all of that good stuff because of the fact that this pandemic has completely and totally taken away from us our daily lives. That is not lost on me. I'm a victim of it, just like everyone else is. That being said, let me get to what I feel like I need to say today. So I was talking to a friend of mine, and in our conversation, we were talking about something else, but in our conversation, we had made it known, and I kind of circled around, and I was just like, you know what? That's why I feel like, and I said the thing, and she said something that was so incredibly profound that I was like, can I use that? And she was like, absolutely. 2020 had to happen in order for us to be 2020. 2020 was a necessary year. Everybody complains. Everybody has chagrin about it. It's giving us agita, as it were, about all of the different things and all the stuff. And it's like, oh my God, once again. Oh my God, once again. Oh my God, once again. There's another thing about 2020 that's happening that's making it a hard year for all of us to have to endure, right? People are complaining about the fact that A, we had a pandemic, which was crazy. B, we had all these riots in the street, murder hornets, all these different things that are happening to us because it's been a lot. It's been a lot. We've endured a lot, and it's only June. Oh my God, right? But 2020 had to happen in order for us to be able to arrive at the global moment that we're at right now. And I think it's really, really important for all of us to understand and know that this is a necessary thing. That being said, understand the reason why I started the video out by saying I am not taking advantage of or making light of anybody's personal sacrifice, especially if you've lost someone to COVID-19. All of those sacrifices will forever and always be in my heart something that is extremely and personally heavy, because all of those people died for my freedom. And I think it's interesting that so many people talk about how, military and soldiers died for our freedom, which they do, and I'm not taking that away, in relation to a protest of the national anthem and taking a knee when the national anthem is being played. During the national anthem, those words that are being sung, those words that were penned by Francis Scott Key did not take into consideration anybody that looked like me when he wrote those words. He did not take into consideration my ancestors that were in bondage during that time, during the time of the American Revolutionary War. He was not talking about Africans in America, because Africans were not American at that time. So when we sacrifice, when we get down on one knee during a national anthem and refuse to say the Pledge of Allegiance, that is what we're talking about. We're not pledging allegiance to a land that does not consider us to be citizens of that land. Why would we do that? Right? So that being said, when you talk about the sacrifice of the military and how it's disrespectful to the military and those that have laid down their lives for this country, for me and for you and for everyone else, when we're in our peaceful protest taking a knee during the anthem, I feel like that's off base. I feel like it's off base. Nobody is questioning their sacrifice. Nobody's spitting on their sacrifice when we're doing that. But in that same light, I am looking at all of those that have sacrificed their lives to COVID-19 directly for me. And I will forever and always honor the 1 million people around the globe, almost 2 million at this point, people around the globe that have sacrificed their lives for this moment in time. Because they made us pay attention. Because of COVID-19, we're all at home. Because of COVID-19, there's a lot of people that are not working right now. Because of COVID-19, there's no distraction from sports. Because of COVID-19, there's a lot of people that are able to get out into the streets and protest and bring attention to things that have never had the attention that has been brought as it has to this moment right now. Because of COVID-19, we are available to talk about this. Because of COVID-19, we are available to be present for this. It's not a coincidence that it happened the way that it happened. And true, George Floyd was the straw. And the fact that Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, and George Floyd all happened the way that it happened, when it happened, in the moments that it happened, and all that attention was brought to it at a time where nobody was paying attention to anything else. Yes, it was the straw. It was the straw that broke the camel's back. Yes, it was. So why wasn't Philando Castile? Why wasn't Trayvon Martin? Why wasn't Tamir Rice? Why wasn't Amadou Diallo? Why wasn't the Central Park Five? Because we were distracted. Because we were working. Because we were busy. We couldn't pay attention to it. We couldn't give it the attention and the time and the wherewithal that we needed to give it at that time because we were busy. And so now the majority of the world is not busy. The majority of the world is at home. Albeit maybe working from home. Albeit maybe trying to wrangle your kids and educate them at home and all that other good stuff. But we didn't have nearly the amount of distraction that we did before. We didn't. And for that reason, the amount of attention that's being paid to it right now is historic. Because it literally is a global moment. And it's happening right now. And it's because of COVID-19. So, Texas is about to be 75% open. Yesterday, Texas reported the largest jump in COVID-19 numbers since the pandemic started. And the governor of Texas is like, open it up! Let's get this party started. So more people are going to die. And with all the protesting and everything that's happening, you have to believe that COVID-19 is being spread. You have to believe that, right? Nothing has slowed down. The pandemic has not slowed down. The numbers absolutely keep rising. There has not been a dip in the numbers yet. Not in Texas, at least. Not in my county. Nah. And in my county, in Harris County, in Houston, in the city of Houston, the largest protest in the city's history happened a couple of weeks ago on a Tuesday. You have to, it begs the question, my left eye is crying, I'm sorry. It begs the question, where are people's motivations and do they really take this that seriously? You know what? Yes, they do. They're willing to sacrifice themselves. They're willing to catch this thing, to be out in the streets in cities across the nation because it's that important a moment. And if you think about it, 4 weeks ago, people were willing to be out in the streets and protesting behind getting a haircut. But those protests aren't happening anymore because the cities are opening and everything is opening, right? So the protests have now changed to a social justice protest, a civil rights protest that actually has to do with people having their inalienable rights challenged and not upheld. The right to exist in America is not the same as the right to have a haircut in America. The right that I'm fighting for, the right that I'm talking about, the right that I am going hard about is the right to exist and be brown in America, to be black in America, and not have my existence be considered differently than yours because you have white skin. The justice that I'm going for speaks to having a gay couple be able to adopt a baby. The justice that I'm speaking to is about having my Middle Eastern brothers and sisters not have to be searched and poked and prodded every time they go to the freaking airport because they think that they're a terrorist. That's what I'm talking about. And now, for nothing, for the first time ever, I think that people are really, really, truly listening to me. For the first time, people can hear me in a way that they never heard me before, and I credit that to COVID-19. Not that I'm saying that COVID-19 was a good thing, because it definitely wasn't, right? But in this moment, it all came together in perfect. It was like a lock and a key, click, and it turned, and it opened a door that we never had opened before. And I mean, like, not for nothing, now's the time to mention, like, we are not our grandparents. We are not our grandparents. These protests are going to be different. This vocality is going to be different. This voice is totally different. Because we are not standing in the streets holding hands talking about how we shall overcome. We are in the streets talking about you can catch these damn hands. Because that's where we at. So, what do? The people of my generation, the Zennials, and the Gen Z, the Gen Xers, and the Zennials, here's what we need to do. And really the early millennials too. Here's what we need to do. We need to vote people into office that look like us. We need to vote people into office that are our same age. Because even if he doesn't look like me, even if he is, in fact, a white male, I need him to be 40. I need him to live these 40-year-old problems. I need him to be a victim of the housing market with these ridiculous ass interest rates and these requirements of you having, like, I need for you to be an early millennial that just graduated college that needs to have 5 years experience and a master's degree before you can get an entry-level position. Look, I need that to happen. I need you to be in government right now, representing me, because you understand what my problems are. And I need for the late millennials and the Gen Zers to be out in these streets and organize. I need you all to be protesting. I need you all to be petitioning your current politicians and telling them about what your problems are, and do not take no for an answer. I need the young ones to be out in the streets doing the work out there. And I need for those of us that are still young but older and have that voice and have that power and have that experience to start putting people in office that look and smell and act and know what our experiences are. They need to look like us. They need to be like us. They are the ones that need to be in the government right now. We need to be voting out these career politicians and let them go into retirement. They need to go out to pasture. A 78-year-old white man has no idea what the hell it's like to live as a black woman in 38 in America. He doesn't know. So how could he possibly represent me? How could he possibly represent me? I need for there to be like a 45-year-old lesbian that knows what it's like to go through that particular kind of discrimination to start writing legislation in office right now so that everyone can be on the same playing field. You feel where I'm coming from? Like, this is where we need to be. So let's go ahead and commit to that. Let's commit to that. Let's appreciate the time that we're in for right now And stop complaining about the fact that, oh, it's going to be another thing. Oh, 2020 strikes again. No, take 2020 for the positive that it is. Because it had to happen. It had to happen in order for us to get to the moment where we're at right now. It had to. We had to be in this moment in order for us to be able to live and pay attention and make the changes that we need to make in order to be who we need to be. So let's live for it. Let's take it. Let's take up the mantle and do something with it. Let's act. It's an election year. Now's the time. Start getting to know who your local representatives are. Now. Talk to them. Now. Call their offices. I bet you they ain't doing a damn thing because they can't go out and campaign. You know what I'm saying? They can't. So now's the time to get to know them. Learn what their records are. Learn where they stand on the issues. And for those that are like 20-somethings, the early 20-somethings, this is your first presidential election. I know we have Joe. I know. It's horrible. It's absolutely horrible that, you know, our guy is like a 75-year-old, again, white guy. But he's not the only one. And he's only one branch of legislation. Find out who your representatives are and go for those people. Get to know them. And fill your government with people that represent you. Now's the time. 2020 made us 2020. It's a good thing. It's a good thing. And as long as you keep in mind that the sacrifice of all the millions of people that passed away, keep in mind that their sacrifice was not for naught. I think that we can take that fire and we can turn it into something really, really positive. And I think that we should. I think we owe it to ourselves, and we definitely owe it to every single person that was mismanaged by our government that caught COVID-19 and didn't have a good plan in place for them to be saved. I think we owe it to them. So, do the work. Get out there, start clicking around on the Google machine and figure out exactly who your people are. Vote, get out there, protest, make the phone calls, do the things, whatever you have to do, and don't let these people's death, don't let their sacrifice go unchecked or unnoticed or unappreciated. Like, just let's do better by them. Okay?